Stay with me. We got pulled over for a busted tail light in the back, and the police he's covered. They killed my boy.
Guys, get on the ground. Keep your hands out. Right back to me. Just keep on coming back, man. Hands on your head.
We begin tonight with that chilling piece of video live streamed on Facebook in the moments after a man by police.
There are major developments tonight in the case of a neighborhood watch captain in Florida who shot and killed an unarmed 17-year-old.
Let me tell you about this case.
The U.S.
We have
Justice
another black
Department
man that's dead for no reason.
Young man in Baltimore police custody. The autopsy on this 25-year-old is now complete. The country.
Overnight, hundreds of protesters shut down LA's massive 405 freeway in both directions. As night fell on Memphis, more than 1,000 demonstrators took to this bridge, bringing Interstate 40 to a standstill for almost 4 hours.
The birth of the movement Black Lives Matter was due to the extant murders by white police officers. Many protests emerged in retribution for the multiple deaths, such as Eric Ghadnaa,
Put your hand behind your back. I can't breathe. 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 I can't breathe.
Mike Brown,
Decided to get this video out of the way today, let America and the world see that Mike didn't rob the store, that was all a lie, and now we get to talk about the real physical evidence at Canfield. The fact that Michael Brown was shot in the top of his head, and a bullet came out of his eye, and that there's a bullet in the ground by his head, and that Darren Wilson claims that he didn't shoot Michael in the top of his head. Well, that's not true, because the physical evidence on Canfield, which is what they don't want us talking about, proves that Darren Wilson murdered Michael, and he should be in jail for that.
although Michael Brown was the initial start of the generation of black activists, his was the one of many attempts of police cover-ups and lies trying to frame an African American without evidence. Nobody could take it anymore, especially not after officers are continuously found not guilty in the murders of the innocent young men. Alicia Garza uploaded a viral message to the black community that concluded with "Black people, I love you, I love us, our lives matter." Patrice Coolers reposts the slogan "Black Lives Matter." With the joining of friends, they made Tumblr Twitter accounts that revolved around the slogan. With that, the movement was given a name. After all this brutality and the non-violent protests regarding it, to what extent has protest increased the attention of police brutality against African Americans?
In February 26 of 2012, Trayvon Martin, a 17-year-old African-American boy, was on his way home after buying a pack of Skittles and an iced tea. At the time, he was visiting his father's house in Sanford, Florida. At the same time, 28-year-old George Michael Zimmerman was working as a watch captain in Sanford, Florida. After seeing Trayvon Martin, he called 911 from his car, saying that there was someone suspicious, and the dispatcher tells him to stay in his car and away from him. Zimmerman doesn't follow orders and he shoots Trayvon Martin in the head, causing his death. Soon after, Trayvon Martin's story boomed in news broadcasts and articles, and rallies started to spark in Sanford to put George Zimmerman in jail. A few days after the incident, on March 21st, there was a peaceful rally in New York called Million Hoodie March, with posters including phrases like "A million hoodie march for Trayvon Martin" and "I am Trayvon." People chanted, "We want arrests," and "We are all Trayvon," and used hoodies to represent what he was wearing the night he was killed. After a year of the incident, Zimmerman was dropped off all charges regarding the case of Trayvon Martin, which generated the peaceful protest that occurred on July 15, 2013 in New York. Protesters started their route in Union Square in the early morning, holding posters and chanting, "The whole system's guilty." The march included thousands of people in the street causing traffic, with people in cars and pedestrians taking pictures of the phenomena. The march ended in Times Square, where demonstrators had a moment of silence to honor Trayvon Martin, where chants kept going loud, and where people stood taller as police approached. July 19th, or 4 days after the march that involved thousands, The case got to President Barack Obama's attention, and he spoke about Trayvon Martin.
Reporters scramble. The half-empty White House press room jolted by a rare surprise visit from the President of the United States.
You think anybody else is showing up?
After talking to his wife Michelle and calling senior staff into the Oval Office, the president decided late yesterday to speak from the heart today. Experiences make African Americans question whether they are treated equally in the eyes of the law.
And that all contributes, I think, to a sense that if a white male teen was involved in the same kind of scenario, that from top to bottom, both the outcome and the aftermath might have been different.
The president suggesting more could be done. Police training to avoid racial bias. A review of stand your ground laws the administration says may promote rather than prevent gun violence. And the bolstering of the self-esteem of young black men.
And then finally, I think it's going to be important for all of us to do some soul searching.
In the end, President Obama went personal again, heartened by the racial progress he sees from his daughter's generation.
Celebrities such as Nicki Minaj, Miley Cyrus, and Rihanna posted in their Twitter showing support for Trayvon Martin. With social media being a big thing at the moment, everyone can get involved by retweeting or reposting, educating people around the world about any problem, in this case being police brutality. Recently, Milan Bolden Morris, a 17-year-old teen, wore a prom dress including many African Americans that were killed by police. The dress was designed by Terrence Torrance, who says that we should never forget these stories. This Black Lives Matter representation has gone viral. In summary, the peaceful protests after Trayvon Martin's shooting brought light to the situation for many people, and it helped get the attention of the then President, Barack Obama. It influenced celebrities to post on their social networks, and it has inspired the young generation to make a change and to spread the word without fear.